The Last Spark of Hope, original title W nich cała nadzieja, a Polish post-apocalyptic science fiction survival film, which, believe me, instantly makes this a pretty unique production. The film is very minimalistic, as it only has two characters, Eva, played by Magdalena Wieczorek, and a clunky old robot called Artur. The narration at the beginning of the film explains that in the near future, Earth eventually gets ravaged by global warming, rising levels of oceans, climate change, climate wars, nuclear destruction, and a mass exodus of the rich and connected people. The survivors on Earth are few and disconnected from one another, and they're sort of scattered in makeshift shelters on tops of hills and mountains, living above the pollution and the destruction. Eva is one such survivor, living only with her robot in a camp where she was left years ago by her father. It's a mundane existence. She writes journals, she fixes things as they break, and occasionally ventures down into the ruined town below to gather supplies. One day she attempts to get back into camp and her robot demands a password, otherwise he's meant to shoot at intruders. And this is a usual thing, but what's unusual is she realizes that the password changed last night, and it does at regular 3-month intervals. But the new password is written in a sort of password notebook that she can't get to because it's inside the house, and she can't get to the house without first knowing the password. So she has to figure out a way to proceed and to solve this problem before she essentially dies of dehydration. So it's the kind of film which conceptually evokes movies like The Martian or Moon, with elements of Scavenger's Reign and Mad Max thrown in. There are also bits of the robot stuff from Isaac Asimov, even going so far as to invoke his 3 laws of robotics directly. But unfortunately, it's nowhere near the level of any of those things that I just referenced. And there are 2 reasons why it ultimately fails. The first one is the way that the story is written. See, movies like these are interesting to me because they show you a competent person having to deal with problems that he or she encounters and overcoming those problems with their wits. To bring up the Martian example again, trouble keeps popping up for the protagonist in that film, but he's capable and intelligent and he slowly works out solutions to these problems. And the issue here is that Eva is not a competent protagonist. Everything she attempts in terms of resolving the issue made me go, really? What? Is that the best you can come up with? And then after the movie was over, I sort of went back and re-examined the way it begins, because surely, at least before things go to shit, she must have been established as a capable person. And I had that impression. I thought of her as a capable person without really thinking about how she's shown to be. And then when I re-examined it, I realized she's not. In the first 20 minutes of the film, she's actually not doing all that much. She sort of half-heartedly walks around the camp, pretending to carry stuff around and repair the solar panels. She's shown accidentally dropping a screwdriver from the roof during some repairs, and then when she goes to pick it up, she never actually returns to finish the job. She drops her flashlight pretty loudly when exploring the derelict supermarket. Then, of course, she is directly responsible for her own peril because she forgets the password change. So, and there's tons of smaller stuff like that. So it's like, why would this be compelling if the only character in the film is not even smart and capable? She's just kind of a bumbling moron. And the second problem with the film is that single actor movies like these put a really, really heavy load on the actor or actress in this case. So Magdalena Wieczorek has to be able to carry the movie on her back to really win the audience over with her performance, and I felt she didn't. She never really did anything that would make me really connect with her or sympathize with her or even just be impressed with her performance. It's just kind of okay. So if you have a minimalistic movie that really relies on these 2 fundamental things to work and doesn't deliver at either, well, the result is obviously not going to be particularly impressive. There's also some smaller complaints. It drove me mad how at the beginning the movie establishes this post-apo wasteland, and some of the initial CGI shots even try to make it look like that. But then The film doesn't even attempt to change the background of many of the shots, so you constantly just see healthy trees and towns and civilization in the background of the shots. In one night scene, there are even city lights visible on the edge of the screen. It completely breaks immersion for me. And also, I thought that the dialogue was at times incredibly clunky, especially when it's used to deliver exposition for the audience about the world and the past of the character. It just doesn't feel like normal people's speech. So I didn't like it in the end. I think it's a good concept, but the execution is miserable, which is a shame because I want Polish filmmakers to try and experiment with genres other than rom-com, Christmas movie, gangster film, or historical period drama. And I would love to see more Polish sci-fi, but not if it's bad Polish sci-fi.